Okay, I'm Jaap from the Netherlands. I'm doing marketing and studying at Mandarin School, Go East, in normal days, but also now working from home. And these last 2 months and still ongoing in Shanghai have been quite special, not to say in a good way, but yeah, looking back, it's quite a special period of time, and I think not one type of feeling to it. I think in the beginning we were quite relaxed about it because it was going to be 4 days, maybe 1 week. And actually at the start, Yangpu district was quite safe, but that changed like 1 week, 2 weeks in, and then at least our compound was safe, but that also changed, and then at least our building was safe, that also changed. So the morale went down first month, and we were quite worried because I cannot take you inside these buildings now, but it's like they're quite old buildings. I really like these kind of compounds, but for most people, not for ourselves, but most neighbors, their living room and toilet and kitchen are separated, so they need to cross like a corridor. So it's very easy to spread. The virus is very easy to spread in these houses. So we were a bit worried about getting infected, but much more about being sent to the quarantine centers. But it's also weird because I don't know if I can trust my emotions now after 60 days and going on. Because in the beginning we were like quite worried about being sent to a quarantine center, but it's almost as if it has been normalized also, because we see other people being sent there. It's becoming so we're not too worried about that now, also because the infections are kind of gone in the compound, and I think we're almost at the end now. And yeah, maybe we should be angry, maybe we should be sad or bitter about 60 days gone from our lives. But yeah, I think the hardest part was we had infections in our building, and we were quite worried to use the staircase because that's connected to the corridors of all the neighbors. So that's when we used a rope to get deliveries. We're on the 4th floor, like an internet cable and a bag to get deliveries into our apartment, and also trash we threw away that way. And then we didn't take a single step outside for 3 weeks. That was, I think, the hardest, because you feel no longer part of Shanghai or no longer part of the world, and days and time doesn't exist anymore. It's just like one day after another, like feel like you're floating in space. And then after that, yeah, we had so after, for instance, 1 month of, we were never that short on food or anything, just not a lot of options and choice. But then after 1 month we could order fresh bread again, fresh coffee. That was quite special. And then when we were really happy with fresh coffee and tiramisu. So maybe people from the outside will think, how the hell can you be happy in such a situation, and maybe we shouldn't, but yeah, that's hard to say. And maybe it will take some weeks of freedom to properly look back on this time.
Do you know people who went to quarantine? What are their experiences?
Yeah, I actually haven't spoken that much with the neighbors about their experience. It feels a bit bad to ask, like, how was it? But at our school, some students went there, and it depends. Some people they had a really positive attitude towards it, trying to make the best of it. And others were really had a really difficult experience. We're all far away from home. I haven't gone back to the Netherlands for over 3 years now, and then you feel even more lonely here, separated from everything.
How's your family handling it?
I think they were more worried than I was. You mean family here or in the Netherlands?
Both.
My family in the Netherlands was quite worried, and every day asking how are you managing, how are you coping. For me it was like, okay, we just need to wait another day, another week, another month.
How did you explain to them, how did you talk to them about what's going on here?
I think maybe at the start they were thinking, okay, because they also had lockdown in the Netherlands, and I had to make clear it's not the same. Yeah, and it's. I also don't know how to look at it now because we're still in the middle of it. Yeah, I think they maybe don't understand how people can tolerate this for so long. Not going out in the Netherlands, that wouldn't fly. In the Netherlands, people would be jumping over fences and destroying stuff. And it's also quite hard to explain.
You are with Go East Mandarin?
Yeah.
How's your guys' business doing now? How's the outlook changed? How are things progressing?
I think it's sort of. I think COVID in general has had a big impact because 2 years ago, before COVID, 90% of our classes were offline, and then now it's 90% online. I think we've been quite lucky, and also because we don't have we just focus a lot on teachers, so that translates well to moving online. And then when this outbreak started, we cannot give offline classes again in Shanghai. So some students, they said, I don't want any classes, and other students, they said, okay, I have nothing to do now, or I have more time, I want more classes. So it sort of balanced out. But I'm a little bit worried about zero COVID for learning Mandarin in the future, because if you cannot get a study visa in China, or you cannot get a working visa, then why would you learn Mandarin? I mean, it's still going to be one of the most important languages in the world, but for personal reasons that some people, they might not feel the need, because usually normal times we had a lot of students who were studying at Fudan, Tongji and Caijin Dashui. And since COVID started, that has been almost zero. So that impacts business, but we're still doing okay.
I'm glad to hear that, actually. You said food was not an issue for you. What about other people's stories? Have you heard anything?
I think it was more. I think food has been okay. People have been sharing. Also, the rations are. People have been sharing. I think there was more insecurity and not that many problems in the end, from what I've seen here. But Shanghai is massive. Actually, we have a senior senior lady in the building. So all the interaction with the neighbors is within the WeChat group, and she couldn't buy food online, so her daughter joined the WeChat group and then helped her group purchases. But that's very difficult, right? Because if you don't know anybody here, how would you find that WeChat group you need to join? So she found it, but I do worry a bit about the whole Shanghai, about all those seniors or people in whatever situation that have no way of joining those groups.
We're just here as a group buy is being delivered, you know, it's a pretty good sign of how people cooperate, right?
Yeah, it's sort of exemplary, but there's a lot of group buying now, so not a lot of luxury and choice, but that's okay. A lot of vegetables. It actually surprised me about supply chains for fresh food in Shanghai are extremely good. It's much easier to buy a live fish than it is to buy cereals or bread. And we have had this silent period for over 2 weeks now.
Do you think your life in the community has changed? Glad you guys are getting that.
Yeah, I actually just moved here before this started. So, and actually most neighbors, we've just been communicating. Our apartment looks over a sort of square, and we've been chatting, actually shouting with some neighbors, like talking but very loud on the other side. That has been nice, and there's a sort of shared suffering, so that bonds. But most of it is in the WeChat group from our building and in our compound. So people sharing what they made from the group purchases, people pushing each other to buy certain things, people sharing their flowers, anything. but also the problems. So like we didn't have a mosquito net because I just moved here, and yeah, you just ask in the group and immediately you have a mosquito net. It doesn't really fit the whole window, so we put some cardboard there.
I've heard stories of people cooperating more a lot. It seems to me like this giant city is becoming more like a little village now.
Yeah, it's everybody. Yeah, you need to find a way to make use of the situation to exist together, get through it together.
Those guys definitely are. That is an impressive order coming in.
Could be residents also. Could be government residents. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm very happy we could make this happen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.